Hello, and welcome to Comics Tuesday. Today I got a special episode for you. So, I'm going to start off with an apology. I'm sorry, guys. Because look, I'm very busy. I work 20 hours a day, 10 days a week. I spend a good chunk of my free time making these videos, and I end up kind of rushing to get this out every single week. And in the process, there have been a few topics that I've promised to cover, and I haven't yet. So to make it up, I'm going to do a handful of topics in this video today. So we're going to be starting off with Dan Slott, or Damn Slut. And so with this, I'm going to start off being just realistic. He's an adult, okay? So I get that he probably has had the sex before, sure. Through countless hours of research, I just haven't found any reason at all to believe that Dan Slott is sexually promiscuous. And so I'm trying to factor things in. As I mentioned, he's an adult, sure. But he's a busy man. He writes on Amazing Spider-Man as well as Silver Surfer. He's spending his days, frequently his nights, working on that, going to conventions, doing interviews, all sorts of things. So I just don't know that he would even have the time to be running around with multiple partners or anything like that. So there's that. And I think that if you're going to make that sort of claim, the burden of proof would be on you. And then there's, of course, the fact that the only reason we're even talking about this is because Dan Slott and Damn Slut sound kind of alike. And I think that's really funny. So I'm going to have to say that no, I don't believe that Dan Slott is a damn slut. Next up, we got Hellboy versus Hello Kitty. Alright, and I think this one's easy, super simple. I give it to Hello Kitty. Or Kitty White. And I'm not trolling or anything. I just think that since Hellboy's love for cats is very well documented, there's no way he would hurt Kitty. No way. So it's a non-issue. She would melt his heart, and they would be the best of friends. And we have Archie and Veronica. Are they right for each other? So in the long run of Archie comics, Archie's gone back and forth between Betty and Veronica, having both at the same time at times. If you're going to look at this empirically, the creators at Archie Comics can't or won't decide which one is Archie's true love. So they kind of leave it up to your personal choice. And for me, that's definitely Veronica. Because he always seems just a little bit more into her. And you know what? She could be a vampire and seduce him with her vampire powers. So I'll give that to Veronica for sure. The Xavier Institute for Gifted Youngsters. Do the credits transfer? And so when you look at this, you have to go back to the comics and see what type of establishment the school is. And from day one, Professor Charles Xavier was 100% serious about helping young ostracized mutants. So he brings them in, and the place is very well funded. It's well protected because the X-Men live there. And absolutely, he has all the most up-to-date educational tools. He has the great minds of himself and Hank McCoy and Aurora Monroe. So they have the teachers for it. And back in the early days, when they kept up the facade of the school very well, there's no reason anybody would not take the credits. Yeah, absolutely. And even after the fact, once the X-Men have been firmly linked to the school, it's still a matter of what other schools would accept a mutant in the first place. If they'll accept a student with a beak or wings or with laser eyes, then it still stands that the Xavier Institute is a great school, so the credits would transfer. And the last topic of the day, how do you make room in your comic book collection for your giant-sized man thing? And so the real issue here is two things. You have to store your comic books in an appropriately sized location, alright? You can't have them spilling out of whatever container you're using. You gotta have room for at least a couple of comic books. And the second of my points on this matter is giant-sized man thing, like all of Marvel's giant-sized titles. It's a hyperbolic misnomer, alright? It's not literally giant. It's not the sort of thing that you have to have 4 friends help you drag into your house or anything crazy like that. A typical comic book would be about 30-ish pages, right? A giant-sized title is only about double that. For example, a giant-sized man thing #1 is 68 pages. It's big, sure, but it's really just the size of 2 comic books. So it's important that wherever you're keeping your collection of comic books, that you can fit at least 2 in there, or a giant-sized man thing. And honestly, you should be planning this ahead and make sure you have plenty of room so you can continue to enjoy whatever titles you prefer. But that was it for this week. And now it's time for the viewer question, which is, what is your favorite fight between a superhero and someone else's supervillain? For me, it's Spider-Man and the Juggernaut. It's one of the best fights that Spidey's ever had. Leave your answer down in the comment sections below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next week for Comics Tuesday. Next time on Comics Tuesday, I talk about negative representations of women in comic books. Thanks for watching.